Alright guys, I thought I'd make a video about community gardening. Now, a lot of times the videos I do, I'm warning you of things that I see, human nature not coming together, loose lips, sinking ships, stuff like that. But, on the more positive side, there are things you can still do without letting everybody know what you do and where to find supplies in an emergency. Because only 1% of, 1 or 2% of the population are preppers, well then, odds are most people around you are not going to have anything around and they'll be looking for your stuff. But, what can you do to minimize this? What can you do to pull together? And a simple answer, one simple answer, there's no right answer, but every little bit helps, would be a community garden. Now, bear with me here because there's a bit to it. I'm going to leave a link in the description bar if you want to try this. It'll give you some good tips on how to start. Right, but talk to your neighbors. Put a sign on the telephone pole, right, and see who'd be with you. There's a lot to this. You see, first off, gardening is hard. Those of you who know or have tried, you know it's not easy to do, right? I don't have much of a green thumb. I'm learning, right? My brother can do a lot better than I can, but I'm learning. Gardening is not something you're taught. It's something you have to learn, right? But you can learn from others. That's a very important skill to have, and it may become necessary. You never know. Not only would you be learning a valuable skill, but it would bring your community together, right? Through hard work. It'd make it interesting and fun. And that's something to think about. You're bringing the community together before anything happens, right? Odds are most of your neighbors are strangers right now. But that gives you a way to get to know them. Get to know who they really are. Get to know their politics, like I said before. That's a very big one. The way they think, their mindset. That gives you a way to win there. Of course, you wouldn't want to go broke. I've seen lots of photos, and I've seen gardens where they use just old people bring in old plywood and stuff they have, and do earth boxes. People use old tires and recycle them into just pots. I guess they should stack them up, and there you go. Plant stuff inside them. You don't want to spend a lot of money doing this, of course. That takes away from your preps, but you can make it interesting and still cheap at the same time. Using old tires, using old buckets. Teach them how to make global buckets. I made a video about that. Using old plywood laying around. You and the other neighbors and whoever would join you could do that. You have old gardening stuff, use that, right? Stuff that's just laying around, so if you don't use anymore, there you go. And you could also teach them, to make global buckets at home. Those things, from what I see so far, they work very well. Teach them to window garden, right? You can also reduce waste by composting. I mean, eggshells, coffee grinds, bread, vegetables, unfinished vegetables, anything, basically except for meat and dairy. And there you go. That would reduce waste. You could recycle stuff that would wind up in a landfill. You'd produce food. And that's something very important, especially, for your health. I mean, vegetables, that's going to get, especially kids, get them into it. They're going to be more likely to eat stuff, try all kinds of stuff, if they actually grow it and take part of it, right? So it'd be good for the kids, it'd be good for the community. You'd be recycling stuff that went up in the landfill. You could reduce trash by, by composting and bringing people together before something happens. That way, you know them to some extent at least, instead of just strangers that they would look to, in a panic. Again, don't tell everybody what you do, but if you learn they do, then work together. If not, well, then I keep kind of quiet about it. Don't tell them you have, hey, I'm a prepper, I've got this and that. No, I don't say that, but, that would help out the community. And, I mean, there'd be a supply of food and a sense of community there. And I do a couple different videos on different things you can do. Not one of these things would do it all, but you know, they'll add up. You do them together, that'll really help you out. Anyway, that's it for this one. I do a couple different ones, and hopefully you'll catch the next.